Yes, it's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now. Let me invite you now. Now I invited you. Now it is going to you. You will click on the request green signal, so you will come live. It's okay now. Now invitation is going to you. As it reach to you, click on the green button. You will come live. Finally, we did it. Thank you. Oh, no, not the decline button. Click on the green button. I think you missed. Again, I'm inviting you. I invited you again. So invitation is going to you. As you get the invitation, click on the green button on the request. Yeah. Click on the request. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome. Ilya Chandler. It took us a lot to come to bring you to live. Fine, maybe I will charge you at the end because you took really lots of time from me. Anyway, Elias Tambler, can you hear me?
Yes.
The program name is Connecting the World. So welcome to you to Connecting the World. Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers? I mean your background. Where are you? Where were you born? How was your grooming, your schooling, your working life from birth till now? What's your life story?
Okay, it should take about 46 years to tell you, so more time for me. I am 46 years old. I was born in the former Soviet Union, now Moldova, the state of Moldova, and I have lived in Israel for about 27 years in a city called Rishon LeZion, near to Tel Aviv. I'm a researcher at Bar Ilan University in Tel Aviv, and my topic is history of aging research. I wrote 2 books on the subject. This is the first book about the history of life extensionism. It tells the history of aging research for the last 100 years, mainly in Europe, also in the United States. And this is my second book about longevity promotion, multidisciplinary perspectives, about history, about philosophy, about sociology, and actual science of longevity, of aging. And that is my topic. I am also an activist. I chair a public association called Israeli Longevity Alliance, and I am a chief science officer of another association called the Movement for Longevity and Quality of Life. And we advance aging research. We point out the importance of aging research for the public and try to educate public about this topic. So that's me. Took less than 46 years.
Wow, that's really wonderful to know about you. Now we have to learn lots from you. So please tell us about longevity, about and later I will talk about something else, about the history, about the philosophy, and the things you learned. Share with our viewers.
First of all my works are available for free online. You can go to my website, longevityhistory.com, and you can download for free both of my books and about 40 articles that I wrote. It is difficult to tell everything I know about longevity. If you ask me how,
Yeah.
if you ask me how to extend life, how to be healthy for a long life, I don't
Yeah,
know. I am just
that's
researching. I am just
yeah.
researching, and a friend just posted the link to my. Thank you, Elena. I research. I think we should study this topic. We should learn what is available healthy nutrition, exercise, but also invest in actual biomedical research to find more advanced methods, cell therapy, pharmacological therapy. We don't know, so that's why we need to do research. That's my main point. That's basically the summary of everything I do. And I'm just happy to introduce this topic for people to think about, to learn for themselves. I'm not giving any recommendations. I'm not giving any recipes. I'm inviting people to think for themselves and study for themselves.
Amazing. Yeah. My question is, let's start it from what is life to you?
What is life? That is a very interesting question. I think that's just being me. And if you ask what is meaning of life, it's also just living. And everybody decides for himself what life means to him. So if I tell you that life is what I do or what I think, that's interesting. But it's for me. It's my definitions. Everybody decides for himself what life means to him.
Yeah. So tell us about the longevity, some tips, some suggestions, and the history of longevity.
Yes, as I said, I'm not giving away any recommendations. If I do, I charge a lot of money for them. No, I'm joking. I'm not charging any money because I don't know. If you ask me, if you ask me how to extend.
Sorry for interruption. I have already paid a big price for bringing you live.
Okay, so in return, I tell you just do some exercise, eat moderately, eat well, sleep well. But that's everybody knows. Everybody knows. You don't need me. You don't need to have a PhD to tell you that. What I'm telling you is start studying the topic of aging. Start to study mechanisms of aging. In this way, we can learn more about how to extend life in a more significant way.
Yeah, let's start.
So I think this conversation is just a starter, a primer, to tell people in Pakistan that there is such a topic. It is an interesting topic. By the way, I cooperate with people in Pakistan with an organization called the Pakistan Aging Research Society. You are welcome to address to their site or to refer to them, and hopefully this knowledge will spread in Pakistan and everywhere.
Yeah. So, could you please tell us about the history of longevity?
Yes. Well, it is not a very long history. The actual scientific study of longevity started about 100 years ago with a scientist named Elia Mechnikov, actually a name like me, who first introduced the first theory of aging. So just in 100 years, we learned a lot about what aging means, what mechanisms of aging exist, how our cells deteriorate with aging, and just in 100 years. So we can imagine what can happen in the next 200 years. So we're actually making this history now.
Yeah. So I'm going to welcome Elena Milova to the show. She in a comment she says, aging is a complex phenomenon. It's rather tricky to control it, as there are 9 underlying processes. And to control aging, you have to learn how to control them all with different medical methods. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Methods. Here is an article about the main mechanisms of aging. Yeah. So 9 processes she mentioned.
They could be 99. They could be 9 or 99 or 199. It is a different way to categorize, to look at it, but you have to know at least the basic ones. Some say 7, some say 9, And when we really learn to intervene into these processes, we can start extending health longevity. And we shouldn't forget the actual lifestyle before we learn to intervene into these processes. We shouldn't forget things that everybody of us can do, like healthy lifestyle, healthy nutrition, exercise. But in theory, yes, there are 7 or 9 main molecular aging processes that can be corrected. There is also important regulation. There is the molecular level and also a higher level, the level of the whole organism. You can correct something at the level of a cell, but it doesn't mean that the whole body will work better, because it's just one cell. You need to look at the entire organism as a whole. So it is a really complex phenomena, but generally it is important to start studying it, to get scientists involved. And I hope we advance slowly, bit by bit.
Yeah. This is really an interesting topic and might be quite new for our viewers. Can you tell us about a little bit the history of aging and longevity? For example, how long, how many years? Yeah, 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, how many years would the human live? I mean, hundred, thousands, 500, and how tall were they?
Yes, that is a very good question. The general assumption is that in the last 100 years, the life expectancy increased by about 50 years. For example, in the beginning of the 20th century, on average, people lived about 30 years. Now, in the developed world, it is.
Mhm.
But that's just life expectancy. The issue is more complex. I don't think the viewers are very interested in all the complexity, but general life expectancy increased by 50 years in the 100 years. That's a lot. And also people grew taller because of better nutrition, also by a few centimeters. If you compare people from the beginning of the 20th century now, they're much taller. So it all goes together. The living conditions improve. People have less infectious disease. So basically, medicine develops. It all comes together. We all live longer as a sign of general progress. So you can think that in the next 100 years, we can expect more increase in longevity and maybe even being taller than we are now. Who knows?
Yeah. One thing about the food you said, some people eat meat, others avoid. Some people recommend meat. Some people say no, meat's not good for. Some people only eat vegetables. Some people eat raw food. The others don't. I have some friends who don't eat neither fish nor milk nor anything. They just eat raw food, raw vegetables. So, in the light of your research, what sort of food or diet would you like to recommend? And some people eat very oily.
Okay, so it is also a very good question. There are studies that tell one thing, and there are studies that tell the opposite thing. Some studies that tell that actually red meat is bad for you, and some studies that it's good for you, and no meat is good and no meat is bad. When you check on a certain population, it tells something, and on a different population, it tells something else. We should all look at ourselves, what is called personalized medicine. Something that may be good for a person in Pakistan, maybe not good for a person in Israel or somewhere else. We should all look at ourselves, what's good for us, what works for us. Generally, as a rule, it doesn't really matter if you eat meat or doesn't eat meat. What is important is the measure. You can eat everything, but in small measure, in moderation. That's the real key. If you read my book, the 500 pages of it, that's what people learned, that you have to be moderate, you have to take everything in good measure. That's how you can extend life.
Yeah, great. And how many minutes or how many kilometers uh, race or walk do you recommend for a human in 24 hours?
That's another question that everybody should decide personally. Obviously, if you ask a 90-year-old to run 20 miles, he will not feel very good after the run. On the other hand, a young, healthy individual, it's okay for them. So basically, there's no one size fits all recommendations. No such thing. Everybody should look for himself or herself. Generally, the WHO, the World Health Organization, recommends 150 minutes of physical activity per week. So I think if we follow it, but once again, moderation is the key. If I just stand up and run the marathon, I'll probably be dead in the end of it and not extend my longevity. So everything in moderation, everything in good measure, that's the only recommendation that I can give you.
Let's say you have written two books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Two books.
What topics did you include there?
So the first book, the book on history, this one, that's basically all the research that was done in this field for the past 100 years, mainly in Europe, in France, in Russia, in Germany, in the UK, also United States. Less about the East. But basically, all the studies that were done, I cataloged them. I showed who the researchers were. If you ask me from all of this, so give us a pill. No, you have to learn, you have to study. But that's an interesting history. And the second book is this one is basically a collection of articles. For example, in the section about philosophy of longevity, it tells how longevity is compatible with different philosophies, for example, or even different religions, for example, with Judaism, with Islam, with Christianity. Longevity is something that is common aspiration for all humanity. If your topic is improving the world, one thing that can improve the world is really, the pursuit of longevity, of health and longevity. That is one thing that we all want, regardless of where you live, of what you do. That's something common. So that's the section on philosophy. And also there is a section on science where also lists some research that has been done. And there is also a section about politics or a policy of longevity. It's something that should be supported by the government, this research, this lifestyle. And another section is about history, also a few articles about different historical developments in the field. Everything is free for download from my website, longevityhistory.com. So once again, I'm not telling you, we have 20 minutes or half an hour. I'm not telling you everything that's in those books, but it's just a topic, something to start to study, something to get interested, and then you can continue to learn.
Actually, your topics has really clicked me. It is, it has really inspired me that I want to even start live sessions with you on weekly basis or in every 10 days because there is a lot to learn. So th- there is a comment. Elena Milova says, the World Health Organization advise eating lots of vegetables and fruits from 400 to 600 grams per day.
Yes, yes, but that's for certain populations. Once again, we have to look for himself. For me, the 600 grams may be not enough. I'm a good eater. For somebody else, enough. Once again, no one size fits all. Always looks at what works for you, what's good for you. That's the whole topic of personalized medicine. I hope we get there. With more learning, with more knowledge, we get there. And I don't know if I can do it in a weekly basis, but I'm happy to help spread the word, and it's important that more people in Pakistan and everywhere learn about it. Yes.
If you summarize your knowledge of longevity in three words, in three tips, what would be those three words or tips for increasing longevity?
First word is moderation. Second word is exercise. Third word is study. Three words.
Moderation,
Exercise, study.
and study.
Study, learn.
Could you little bit explain the word, the terminology moderation?
Moderation is basically not having your feel. You know, when you eat something, you just don't gorge yourself until you can't stand up from the table. Just, you know, have some measure. Same with exercise. You just don't run until you drop. Same with everything. That's, you know, a lot of research, for example, calorie restriction shows that moderation in food actually extends lifespan in every animal that tried it. Exercise also, you have to be active, means both mental exercise and physical exercise, but once again in moderation. Don't run yourself to death. And study, just learn about this topic. The more you learn, the better you become for yourself, for others. You know, the better you are able to teach others, to learn from others. So basically,
Great.
these three.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, one other minor question. Thanks for sharing. You're a generous guy. You share your knowledge, your skill, your information. One other question. Throughout the history, human, I don't know exactly how many million or billion life exists on this earth. How long is it still taking place? For example, 1,000 years ago, what was the average longevity of human?
Look, we don't know exactly. 1,000 years ago, there weren't any reliable records. From what we know from inscription on tombstones, some people lived to a very old age, to 70 to 80. Some people died very young in childhood. So the life expectancy probably was very low compared to today. But still, the maximum life expectancy probably didn't change. Sorry, the maximum lifespan, the maximum time humans can live didn't change much. Uh, of course, there were much fewer people back then, but still, if we do the math, probably people who are dead are many times more than people who are now alive. You know, because generation changes. So it is difficult to do the math. What we need to focus is what's happening now. How can we change our longevity? How can improve our longevity of our children? So that's something we should focus on. We don't really know what happened in the past. 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, some people, you know, the scripture said that people lived a long time. Even Islam says people lived a long time. Some people say they lived short time. We don't know. We don't know exactly. What we know is what we live now and how can we improve our longevity now.
Let's come again to your point, the word exercise. As you said, physical exercise for body. What exercise do you suggest for spirit and for mind?
I think you said it yourself, walking. Walking is the best. It doesn't cost anything, and it is good exercise. It also improves your mental capacity because when you walk, you also absorb the scenery, you orient yourself, so it's also good for the mind. So the best exercise is walking. That's what I can recommend you. And you don't need to spend money on expensive gymnastics equipment or things like that. So that's, you just need two legs or even one leg to do this.
Yeah. For example, you said study.
For example, you said study.
Isn't it a kind of exercise for mind? Studying.
Come again? What? Studying? Yes. Yes, but you know, there are actually studies that physical exercise is better for maintaining the mind than the mental exercise. The best is to combine them both mental exercise and physical exercise. If you just sit and you don't come up from the chair and learn and learn and learn, you're probably going to deteriorate also mentally. But if you combine mental study and the physical exercise, that's the best recipe for keeping the mental ability.
Now one personal questions. What is the secret of your good health? What's your own routine? I mean, your age, your physical. Yeah, how old are you? Your parents. You just look like a teenager.
Really? Oh, thank you. I'm 46 years old. You know, to tell the truth, I don't know. I'm not fanatical. I don't do crazy exercise. I do little exercise. I eat okay. So basically, I think the moderation and steady lifestyle and study is what keeps me healthy. I'm quite healthy. You know, haven't been to a doctor for several years. But you know, I think there's no real no secret that I can give you away. You know, just be normal, just be reasonable, okay? Just you know, do some things to keep your health.
Yeah. Well, Elias Tembler. This was the first introductory session with you. So, in our upcoming shows, we will have a specific topic. We will talk about it. Thank you so much for coming live, for sharing your knowledge, for extending your full support for humanity. You are a great human. I would like to start with you a show in the upcoming days. It's really nice talking to you. Thank you so much for coming to the Connecting the World.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I think it is very important what you're doing. You know, educating the public, making them better people. You know, and I think in conversation we can really increase our knowledge, increase our cooperation, and that's really the way to improve the world. So thank you for what you are doing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.